Wednesday, February 7th, 2024, Daily Bread. Title, God Sees Our Hearts. Proverbs 21, 1 through 19, key verse 3. To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. In the Lord's hand, the king's heart is a stream of water that he channels toward all who please him. A person may think their own ways are right, but the Lord weighs the heart. To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. Haughty eyes and a proud heart, the unplowed field of the wicked produce sin. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. A fortune made by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor and a deadly snare. The violence of the wicked will drag them away, for they refuse to do what is right. The way of the guilty is devious, but the conduct of the innocent is upright. Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. The wicked crave evil. Their neighbors get no mercy from them. When a mocker is punished, the simple gain wisdom. By paying attention to the wise, they get knowledge. The righteous one takes note of the house of the wicked and brings the wicked to ruin. Whoever shuts their ears to the cry of the poor will also cry out and not be answered. A gift given in secret soothes anger, and a bribe concealed in the cloak pacifies great wrath. When justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous, but terror to evildoers. Whoever strays from the path of prudence comes to rest in the company of the dead. Whoever loves pleasure will become poor. Whoever loves wine and olive oil will never be rich. The wicked become a ransom for the righteous, and the unfaithful for the upright. Better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. Daily Bread. First, heart attitude over acts of service. Sometimes we think God is pleased with us because we're inviting students doing Bible study and even helping around the church. However, outward acts of service don't always mean our hearts are right with God. Serving God isn't a substitute for a right relationship with Him. In fact, to God, our heart is far more important than our service. Imagine inviting students to come to know God when we ourselves are far away from Him, or teaching the Bible and encouraging students to look at their heart when we aren't even doing that. In God's eyes, that is foolishness and hypocrisy. So what are you focusing more on these days? Your service or your heart in front of God? Being eager to carry out spiritual tasks is good, but don't forget the most important task, building our relationship with Him. When our heart is close to God, it shows and is reflected beautifully in our serving. Second, planning leads to profit. Haste leads to poverty. Careful planning is wise. For example, imagine you gain a large sum of money. You could wisely spend, invest, and reap the profits of that planning later in life. Or you could be an impulse buyer, spend it all within a few years and have nothing to show for it in your later years. How we spend our time on earth also has the same impact. If we invest our youth, time, heart, and energy for God, we will reap the amazing blessings later in life and into eternity. But if we waste it all on temporary possessions and pleasures, we will be left with nothing. There will be a great sense of emptiness and regret if we don't use our lives wisely. Are you carefully thinking about how you are spending your life? Let's be wise spenders of what God has given us so we can make our lives truly count and please our Heavenly Father. Prayer. Lord, help me carefully examine my heart and life in front of you. I want to serve you wisely and with the right attitude from now on. One word, God sees my heart.